Okay, so I've come across a case which is disturbing, not surprising. I hadn't intended to make this video, but I feel it's important to discuss this because it really highlights and emphasizes, underscores the issues I've been talking about in recent days concerning freedom of speech in Thailand or lack thereof. So, there's a woman in Koh Samui. The report says her name, but I'm not going to say her name because I don't want her to be subject to further vitriol. Um, who was charged with lèse-majesté, insulting the king online, and basically Channel 4 showed footage of her coming outside the police station. I assume they were processing her case, and someone had installed a portrait of the late king, and she had to grovel to it, to bow to it. Not far away was a large mob, and there were police officers in chained arms, presumably to hold them back, or at least to make sure that they didn't attack her. Now, if this is not a personality cult, I don't know what is. And this is not the end of it. This poor woman is probably going to be jailed for a very long time. I'd be surprised if they don't push that. The police chief came out and addressed the crowd and said, "You came here today out of loyalty, and justice will be done. I promise you that." In other words, I wouldn't say pandering to mob mentality because these are laws that exist in Thailand. So in that sense, it's a rule of law, but it's a black law in the sense that it's used as a tool of persecution. Let's be clear, this woman wasn't prostrating before the portrait of the king because she'd seen the error of her ways and she suddenly found a love for monarchy. She was doing it because she had no choice. And this mob of thugs and cards unquestionably would have lynched her had those police officers not been there. Now, Thailand runs the risk of being an international laughingstock for all the wrong reasons. And I'll say what I said in the previous videos. I have no disrespect towards Thailand as a country, but this law, Article 112, is an abomination. Earlier, a moderate royalist tried to convince me that there are similar laws in the United States and in Europe. Rubbish, there isn't. He tried to insist that it's illegal to criticize President Obama. Rubbish. If that was the case, then millions of Americans would be in jail because Obama is insulted all the time. He tried to insist such laws exist in Europe. Again, that's rubbish. And to prove that, I believe Queen Elizabeth II has made some very bad decisions over the years. I believe she's made a big mistake. Where's the royal police to arrest me? I believe Queen Elizabeth II has made a big mistake by inviting corrupt despots to banquets. She was wrong. Queen Elizabeth II is a human being. She has faults. Where's the royal police? Now, that sarcasm is not to gloat about the situation in my country. It is rather to point out I have no fear. In Thailand, those brave people, my Thai brothers and sisters who have the courage to speak out, they know that there is a risk that they will be arrested. I don't know what this woman wrote, and quite frankly, I couldn't care less what she wrote, because unless it was a threat, which I very, very much doubt, then there's absolutely no justification for such a hideous law. I don't even care if her post was insulting, because this is a personality cult. And I just find it a sick joke when Thai royalists try to insist that it isn't. That's what it is, by definition. And I just feel sickened that so many people latch onto this. I will say one thing though, it's an interesting thing that I've noticed in recent days. I've been getting a lot of friend requests online from Thais because of the posts that I've been making. I've been very candid in my thoughts on Facebook news reports. Now, when I get report friend requests from Thai people, I usually check out the profile to see like if they're really pro monarchist, and if they are, I don't accept it for obvious reasons because I assume that they're trying to trick me. But I got a message about an hour ago, and the person said that she agreed with what I was saying. It was more or less along the lines of this video. She agreed with what I was saying, but she couldn't like my comment, and she couldn't voice her agreement with my comment because she was in Thailand. And this situation is so bad that people are actually having to change their profiles to pictures of the king so that they're not targeted. To put on a false front. If I can make an analogy, and maybe this isn't a good analogy, but imagine in the 1950s, gay people would pretend to be straight so they wouldn't be discriminated against. In Thailand, the situation is such that people who actually are forward thinking and they know there is a problem, they can't speak out. And I don't blame them for that, by the way. I don't I talk often about brave Thai dissidents speaking out, and I do respect those people, but I don't blame the Thais who don't speak out. I wouldn't want to spend 15 years in jail. I don't think that's cowardice. I think that's common sense, actually. But this abomination needs to change, and that starts with international news networks not being frightened to report the truth. I appreciate within Thailand it's difficult to do that, but outside Thailand, they should absolutely report this. So give credit to Channel 4 for reporting this and showing the disgusting behaviour of these fanatical royalists. But I also think world leaders need to play a role. And I was disappointed the other day when world leaders lined up to sort of grovel to the sentiments and say the Thai king was loved by all the Thai people. I think they should have struck a bit more of a balance. I appreciate they can't just come out and say, we want Thailand to improve freedom of speech just like that. They have to be diplomatic. I get that. But they could have said, condolences to the king's family and our thoughts are with Thailand. But we believe in freedom of expression. They could have given a balanced response. If I was British Prime Minister, I would have said something along these lines. Condolences to His Majesty's family. We hope for a smooth transition. Um, and we are thinking of the Thai people at this time. But the United Kingdom believes in freedom of expression. And we condemn the persecution of people simply for having viewpoints. That might seem, some would say that's bad timing. I disagree because this is going to get worse right now. So the timing, frankly, is very appropriate. Like I said before, it's very easy for me to make this video in a country where I don't fear repercussions. If I ever go to Thailand, I will absolutely respect the laws. I'm not going to be stupid. I'm not going to go and criticize the monarchy, and that would just be asking for trouble. I'm not stupid. I'm not going to do that. And the point I would make is when I comment online or when I make these videos, I'm not subject to Thai law. I'm just not. And this particular Thai law, Article 112, I think it's an abomination. I think it has no place in the modern world. And I think it only testifies the situation that this is a personality cult. People say the monarchy itself doesn't impose it. That's not the point. The point is political factions in Thailand at the moment, the military junta, do impose it. So it's used as a weapon. And I just raised the point. If the monarchy is so perfect as these royalists make it out to be, why do they need a law to protect them? If they're so mighty and perfect, why do they need such a law? So we'll leave it there. I'm thinking about this woman at this time, and also others who have been targeted. A few days ago, an academic, his house was surrounded by a mob, and unfortunately, I think there'll be other similar incidents. I always knew at this particular time when the king passed, it would be particularly frenetic, and unfortunately, that looks to be transpiring. It won't be the last time we see something like this. But frankly, I think the international community, anyone who believes in true liberty, needs to not kowtow to this. And to those Westerners who are, you know, sort of believing all the propaganda, I would say try and think for yourself and don't assume that all the Thai people are the same. Not all Thai people are brainwashed idiots who grovel and worship the monarchy. That's not the case. There's actually millions of Thais who think otherwise. It's just that they are in a situation where they can't speak freely. It's a fact. And I'm not disputing that there is genuine, love for the monarchy. I'm not disputing that, but what I am saying is it is only one side of the story. The other side does not have a voice. And those who are brave enough to speak out are brutally repressed. This is disgusting. It's appalling, it's backward, and that's why I make these videos. So my thoughts right now are with this lady, and I just hope she's okay. Um, I imagine she's scared right now. I imagine I can't even imagine what that must be like. Usually, when foreigners are charged with lèse majesté, the king grants a pardon. Well, that might even be more dangerous now that the king is gone. I don't know who's going to grant the pardon, whether it be the crown prince or traditionally the king would grant a pardon to foreigners. So I don't know who's going to grant a pardon. That potentially makes the situation more dangerous. So yeah, it's depressing, frustrating. And I will say to Thai royalists, I don't respect Article 112, not outside Thailand. If I go to Thailand, I'll obey it. I don't agree with it, I don't like it, but I will obey it. But outside Thailand, I will say what I'm saying. And that's all there is to it. So, I hope there's pressure from the international community to make sure cases like this, well, to make sure 112 is abolished. This whole thing about sovereignty, no country in the world has a right to trample human rights. That is something that goes beyond national sovereignty, as far as I'm concerned. And actually, as far as international law is concerned, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, signed in 1946, stipulated that. So, sovereignty can really be used as an excuse in these cases. Anyway, I'll leave it there. It's just an unfortunate situation, and my thoughts are with that lady right now and everyone else who's being persecuted. And finally, my message to Thai dissidents, stay strong, stay brave, and please know that there's people around the world who know what is going on.